Hi everyone, welcome to the Adelaide Cottage podcast about knitting, sewing, hand dyeing yarn, and other crafts. My name is Shauna, and I'm recording from right outside of Buffalo, New York. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, and Etsy as Adelaide Cottage. So thank you so much for checking out my podcast. And of course, if you like it, be sure to subscribe. That's how I know that people are enjoying and watching. And then you'll be notified of new episodes every week. So I have to apologize in advance. My throat is a little crackly from just a cold that's going around. So I might be clearing my throat pretty often. So I do apologize for that. But this week I have one finished object to show you, one half-finished object, which a lot of knitters are calling hose. So I guess I have a hoe. And then I have a couple of works in progress, one of which is my Cozy Memories blanket, and a few acquisitions. And then at the end, I will talk a little bit about some diet changes that are happening in my life and for my family. So I'll save that for the very end in case you are completely not interested in that type of thing. So not much, actually not really a shop update for this week. I've been working on some custom orders, and after this batch, I'm not going to be accepting custom orders for a little while. It's just difficult for me to keep the shop stocked with my handmade items and do custom orders all at once because I can only work for a little while at a time because of my health condition. So I can't put that time in that's necessary. Although I enjoy custom orders so very much. I love making things especially for certain people with special touches. But for right now, it's not something that I can do. So I'm thinking I will have new items in my shop bi-weekly. Not a weekly basis, but I'll do a larger bi-weekly shop update with yarn project bags and things like that. So anyways, I would like to show you. First, actually, I would like to say thank you to Katie from the Inside Number 23 podcast, which is fantastic. If you haven't watched it yet, she is so sweet. And I mentioned her on my last podcast. I kind of recommended to you that you go take a look, but she said really nice things about me in her podcast last time she recorded, and the project bag that she purchased from me. So thank you, Katie. You are so very sweet. So yeah, on to my finished object. Sorry. I'm digressing today. I am holding my son's hat that I knit for him. And this is, there we go. This is a DMC hat that I purchased on Amazon and was inspired to knit it because of Isabel from the Fluffy Fibers podcast. I just thought it was way too adorable, and I love the colors. So it's like a taupe, and then it turns into an ivory, and then like a fuzzy white, and then more taupe, and then white at the top, and then this cute little dog on the top. Can he get any cuter? I love the little spot on his eye. So this is acrylic yarn I mentioned before when it was a work in progress, but it's very soft. I knit this on my Knit Picks Sunstruck wooden needles. I didn't enjoy knitting with it per se, just because of the acrylic and the wooden needles mixed together. It was kind of rough to knit, but now that it's finished, it's really soft, and he really loves to wear it. He was upset today when he couldn't wear it to school because I wanted to show you, but I let him wear his big brother's hat, so he was excited. So yes, I paid $7.99, I believe, on Amazon with free shipping for this kit. And you can knit it in toddler size or adult small. And I did the adult small because I wanted it to fit him for a while, and it fits perfectly. I think it'll fit him this year and next year. So, excuse me. So yeah, that's the little doggy hat. Way too cute. And they have soccer balls, princesses, all different types of colorways and little accessories for the top. So yes, that is my finished object. And then I have my half-finished object, which is my hope sock. Okay, so last week when I podcasted, I can't remember where I was. I think I was pretty much done with this and I was moving on to the toe. They still need to be blocked, or it still needs to be blocked, but I finished. I'm so excited. You have no idea. I was so intimidated about knitting socks, I told you, and it is not hard. I'm so glad I'm over my fear, and if any of you are fearful of knitting a sock, please don't be. I highly recommend this book, and I was watching the Grocery Girls podcast, which I just came across. A few other podcasts had mentioned them, and I love it. They are so sweet. Jody and Tracy, they're sisters. And Jody is the maker behind Mrs. Brown's Bags. So very talented. They're both very sweet. I love their demeanor. Great taste in yarns and patterns. And and Tracy showed this book on her podcast yesterday, I believe. Or the most recent one. I watched it yesterday. This book is fantastic. It's I showed it in an earlier episode, but it's called Knitting Socks, Getting Started Knitting Socks by Ann Budd. And the illustrations in this book are perfect. And if I didn't have this book, honestly, I probably wouldn't have been able to knit a sock. But she shows you different heel flaps, and the pictures are so clear. She shows you each step of knitting the heel flap. And I have so many pages tabbed off. It's amazing. And then she showed, last time I was talking about that there's a hole on one side of my sock at the gusset. I don't know if you can see it. Yes. Right there. So the other side doesn't have it. That's a tweed piece of Donegal. And I was trying to figure out how to prevent that from happening. And I was reading over this book again last night, and she has a tip, how to prevent holes in the gussets. I don't know how I didn't see it. It's like lime green. So what she recommends is, the reason for that hole is because when you're keeping your, hold on, let me just read this really quick. Okay, so if you're holding your instep stitches on a needle while you work your heel, the stress from, that needle hanging down, and you're pulling up on your heel stitches, the stress of that weight is causing the hole. At least that's what she's saying. So she recommends threading a piece of scrap yarn through the instep stitches. I just had a brain freeze. While you're working the heel, and then putting it back on a needle when you're done. So I'm going to try that next time and see if it works. And then it also helps if you pick up an extra stitch right at the boundary between the instep and the heel flap, and then work that stitch together with the instep stitch on the next round. So I'm going to try that with my next sock, with my next hope sock. But this book is amazing. And she shows you how to knit toes, and the Kitchener stitch to close it. So I let's see. I just followed the toe in this is the blueberry waffle sock pattern, by the way. I just followed the pattern in the blueberry waffle sock pattern to knit the toe, and I believe, is this called a wedge toe, you sock knitters? Where it just gathers at the sides here, and then I closed it with a Kitchener stitch, which wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. This book gives awesome directions to do that. So yes, I have a sock and it fits and it's wonderful. What did I cast on? 56 stitches on a US size 1. And I kind of feel it fits, but I feel like the gauge is still too loose. I'm a loose knitter. So I went ahead and ordered a fixed circular to try Magic Loop, which I've never tried. I ordered the Addy Turbo Sock Rockets, I think they're called, in a size US 0 to try Magic Looping. So that will be here tomorrow, which I'm so excited about because I wanted to try Addy needles anyways. So I'll see if I like them. So I'm going to finish this other Hope sock, and then those will be blocked and I can wear them, and I'm so happy. The yarn is so soft and squishy, and this pattern makes it even squishier. This is the Wool Barn tweed yarn in the soft blue colorway. You can see it better on this side. So yeah, that's done. Yay! I have a feeling that I'm going to be a future sock addict. The feeling when I finished that Kitchener stitch, the last stitch in my first sock, was incredible. And then I put it on my foot and I was like, oh my goodness, I just knit a freaking sock. I couldn't believe it. Just, I don't know. It was really cool. So I'm already planning my next pair after I finish my other Hope sock. Sorry, I'm still working on my first cup of coffee of the day. And this is, I'm going to knit my next pair either out of one of my colorways, which is called Candy Crush. It's one of my favorites. Turquoise, speckles, pink, gold, purple. It's kind of hard to see in this lighting today, I feel like. But I knit a square up in my Cozy Memories blanket with this, and I loved it, so I thought it would make a really fun pair of socks. So I'm either going to do this, or I have this gorgeous colorway by Deborah Norville, her Serenity sock weight, and the colorway is called Pink Sugar. So I have two of those. And this one was really hard to find. I think I had to order them online at maybe loveKnitting.com or Jimmy Bean's Wool. I can't remember. They've been in my stash for a while. And some of my favorite colors. Pinks, mauves, purples, creams. Love it. So that will be my next pair of socks, one or the other. Let's see, what else do I have on the needles? My shawl, my Waiting for Rain shawl. So I'm going to show you the picture again because I think I'm going to make a change in mine. So here it is, Waiting for Rain by Sylvia Bobilvia. Gorgeous garter stitch sections with breaks of lace. And I have been knitting mine out of the gorgeous yarn from the Wool Barn called Roses and Honey. And here's the cake. And specks of red and gold and brown and pink. So this is what I have done so far. I'm almost done with the first section of garter. So it's getting really long. I might have to switch to a longer cable actually. But here it is. I'll bring it closer for you. I've got my little sheep progress keeper on there. And yes, I'm really, really, really enjoying it. So I have 2 skeins of this yarn. So I was originally going to do the whole thing in this color. But recently, Sylvia Bobilvia posted a picture on Instagram and on Ravelry of another one that she knit with stripes, and the lace section is a different color and it matches the stripes. Gorgeous. She is going to add the revised pattern like as an add-on to people who have already purchased her pattern. So I can definitely see myself knitting another one already with that adjustment. But for now, it hasn't come out yet, her revised pattern. For now, I think I'm going to do the lace section in this really pretty Patton's Croy Sock flax colorway. It's kind of like a taupe, and it almost looks like there's a little bit of pink in it. So I was thinking to do the lace sections in this. I don't know. What do you think? I think I might try it. Just to give it a little bit of dimension and, I don't know, just a little bit of color work for me. I haven't done anything with color work before, or changing colors at all. Everything I've knit has been one solid color. And the hat was like self-striping, so I didn't have to do any color changes. So I'm thinking I might do that and give it a try. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It might look ugly, but I could rip it out if I don't really like it. But I'm sure it'll be pretty. So yeah, that's the progress I've made on this. Waiting for rain. And then I have my Cozy Memories blanket to show you. I feel like my little rubber band is hitting the microphone, so I'm sorry if you hear that. Okay, so I don't remember where I was when I saw you last on this. Let's see. I think I remember now. So the last time I showed you, it was these 5. So I have added 2. This is a colorway from a homespun house called Won't You Be My Neighbor. I love it. The way the colors change. While I was knitting it, I sent Molly a message and I was like, this is amazingly dyed. I would have never thought to put these colors together. All different, it's so tonal, but each color is tonal. There's a bunch of different colors and each one is tonal. So there's all different shades of blues, greens, grays, taupes, gold. It's really, really pretty. So I really enjoyed that one. And then I added this, and this is my Candy Crush colorway that I was talking about, that I might knit socks out of. So yeah, that's really fun, I think. Now, speaking of the Cozy Memories blanket, I was watching Katie from Knit 23. Oh my gosh, Inside Number 23. I was thinking of Sue, who is Sue from the, Legacy Knits podcast, and her ID on Ravelry is Knit24. So I don't know, sorry. So Katie of Inside Number 23, her Cozy Memories blanket, her center stitch is very pronounced, which I love. And that's what I wanted to do with mine. I thought I was doing it until I knit the first couple of squares, and I was like, oh no, that is not what I had intended. The pattern I'm using is just called the Memory Blanket by Georgie Halam on Ravelry. And basically it's a knit two together. And then slip knit. I forgot the way Katie said she was doing hers, but I was very tempted to rip mine out and reknit it, but I don't know if I want to do that. So I had messaged her, and she said, why don't you just start a second one? And I was like, well, that's a good idea, because Maya of the Wool Barn, hers is gorgeous, and she's knitting hers in all like neutral, soft colorways. And this one is going to be very super colorful. So maybe I'll do one of each. Who knows? Maybe I'll start separating my minis and trying that. But I really love the way that center stitch just pops out in the other pattern. So I don't know. I like it though. It's growing slowly. But it's pretty. So the next square I'm going to put in is this yarn from Molly of a Homespun House, and it is her blush colorway. So these minis that I'm getting from her are all part of the Cozy Memories blanket kit that I purchased from her. So she included 10 mini skeins, a really cute tote bag, a center stitch marker, and some tea. So yeah, those are all of my whips. And I've got, let's see, some acquisitions to show you. Not big ones, but fun ones. So the first one that I have is, I signed up for the Jimmy Beans Wool monthly beanbag thing. So basically every month it's like $10 that they automatically remove from your bank account, and they send you a surprise package every month with samples of yarns and some notions and things like that. So this is a cute little bag it came in, a beanie bag, and this is really nice to have for notions pouches, I think. So this time it came with a scentless soak wool wash. There you go. A crochet hook, a mini one, which I was so excited when I got this because I do frequently drop stitches. So this is nice for a project bag. And then it came with 4 balls, like minis, of yarn. And then it tells you, there's a little note inside that says, hand wound with love by Lux. Happy crafting. So that's cute. So the 4 little balls of yarn that I got, this is just a plain, let's see, there's a little piece of paper. It reminds me of a fortune cookie because they're inside of, the papers are inside of the yarn. Rowan Superfine Merino DK. And it's just the cream colorway. You get 15 yards. It's 100% wool, just a plain ivory. The second one is I should have had these all opened already, I'm sorry. terrible podcaster. This is Rowan Tweed, 100% wool. The Settle colorway, number 597 and 15 yards. The next one is Rowan Baby Merino, Silk Decay, Cantaloupe colorway, number 686. And this is a very loosely spun 2-ply Rowan color spun. It's got some mohair and polyamide. And this is a cute colorway name. It's called Butter Tubs, number 270. So yeah, that's what I got from them, which is super cool. I'm excited to get those every month. We'll see when I get sick of them, if and when. Okay, so the next thing that I got was the Take Heart book by Fiona Ellis. And so many beautiful patterns in here. I'm sure most of you have seen it. I know Danny of Little Bobbins and Deb, who is Tink Hickman on Ravelry, are kind of knitting all the way through this book together. So many pretty patterns in here. One specifically, now that I'm a sock addict, I would like to knit these Lunenburg Harbor socks. And there's really sweet lace at the top here. And then like lines that go down here, and then lines that come up from the toe. And I just love those socks. So those might be a very, or those might be a future cast on very soon. Lots of pretty things in here. So yeah, I was excited to get this. This came very quickly, very quickly. Okay, so this is a cute little fun acquisition. This is the Mason-Dixon Knitting Coloring Book for knitters. And you know how they have all these new adult coloring books out in the stores? I saw a knitting one. And the pictures in here are awesome. And some of them are kind of funny. I started coloring one last night. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. So that's the one I started coloring. But it's super cute. It's like a girl walking her dog, going into a little yarn shop. And this actually reminded me of Danny of the Little Bobbins, with Bobbin, going to a yarn store. It's super cute. Lots of really cute, let me see if I can find one of the ones I kind of giggled. This one, there's like a llama and an alpaca sleeping in bed together. I don't know, I'm not going to flip through all the pages right now, but oh, these are hilarious. I just want to show you one more. Oh, here's one that's super cool. It's like a knitting convention. So I bought this on Amazon. I think it was like $11 US. I'm not sure. But it's super cute and super fun. And I can definitely see myself ripping a couple of these out and framing them once they're colored. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. The last thing is, I mentioned earlier on that I want to start soap making. And I've wanted to for a long time. soaps for us that are just more natural, and wool wash bars. So I have all of the supplies to make said soap, but I haven't had a soap mold. And they're kind of pricey. They're around $40 for just a 2-pound soap mold. And my husband's been has been doing a lot of woodworking. So I was just like, hey, Jason, do you think you can put this together for me? And I showed him a picture of one I found on a website that was like $40. And he's like, yeah, that'll take me like 15 minutes. So he made me one, and I just thought I would show you because it's super cool. So this is it. And then the bottom slides out so that your soap can easily come out. So he put those ridges at the bottom for it to glide right along. So basically you put parchment paper inside, and then you pour the soap batter in and allow it to dry. And then when it's done, you kind of just pull this bottom out, and your soap will easily come out of here. And then it's got to sit for a while, weeks actually, I think. I have to read through the book again. I have a really nice soap crafting book that I've been referencing, but I haven't looked at it in a while. So before I plunge at this, I'm going to read it again. And then you just kind of slice it into soap bars. So I'm excited to do this, and if it comes out good, I'd be happy to share some of that soap with you. Just plop some in my shop. Plop it in my shop. So yeah, that's the last of my acquisitions. Like I said, no shop update right now. I'm hoping to have one next week sometime. I do have a couple of skeins of yarn going into the shop, but that's about it. So this is a new colorway, and there's just 2 skeins of it that I'll put in the shop, but it's called Under the Sea, and it's shiny because it's a silk superwash, non-superwash merino and silk blend. Let's see if I can bring it closer. So it's basically just like a turquoise, different tones of the turquoise and gray. So there, that will be up. And I want to talk zombies for a minute. So sweet little innocent Shauna, who doesn't like violent movies or any kind of movie where anybody gets hurt or becomes sad or anything. I like romantic comedies that make me happy and have a happy ending. But in backing up just a few months, if you would have said, do you like zombies? I would have thought you were crazy. Never would I have thought I'd watch a zombie show or movie or anything. I don't believe there will ever be a zombie apocalypse. However, the hype of the Walking Dead series, seeing that it's the #1 show watched on television in the United States, my husband and I thought we would give it a try. So it was on season 6 at the time when we started watching from the beginning. So within just a couple of months, we have watched 6 seasons on Amazon Prime. After the first episode, we were hooked. And it's not so much the zombies that we're hooked on. I think it's the characters. You become connected with the characters and the storyline and how they become a family and kind of do whatever it takes to keep each other safe. So if you've never watched it, I say give it a try. It's kind of like I don't know. I still think that it's funny that I watch it, but I really enjoy the movie. And I was watching Legacy Knits podcast with Chelsea and Sue, and they were talking about how much they love The Walking Dead as well. And I really wanted to put together some Walking Dead kits that include a project bag, some yarn, and really fun stitch markers, and maybe even like a knitting needle keeper, like a DPN holder to match. So I went out and bought some Walking Dead fabric, and I think I'm going to make them into reversible drawstring bags because there's 2 Walking Dead fabrics, so maybe I'll do one on one side and one on the other. And then the yarn came out awesome, I think. I did kind of like a test skein to see how I would like it. I had this idea in my head to make it kind of bloody looking, but still nice enough to knit into something like socks or something like that. So I'm not going to show you yet. I'm going to wait till the whole kit is put together, but that's something to look forward to if you're a Walking Dead fan like me. That will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, I would say. But I will definitely let you know on Instagram, so make sure that you're following me on there, and I'll mention it in my podcast before they are available. I have picked out some really, really cute fabric for project bags, summery fabric. I'm just really excited about the fabric that I've been getting. So I need to stop buying fabric, actually. It's quite an addiction and a problem. I just love it. It's so much fun. So another reason why I'm not doing custom orders too is because I haven't been able to make time to sew things that I enjoy sewing for us as a family. For instance, the quilt that I've been working on, my Little House on the Prairie quilt, I haven't touched it in weeks, and I'm dying to get back into it. It's so much fun. So yeah, I really want to make time for that, the soap making, putting together some Walking Dead kits, and making some project bags for the shop, and dyeing some more yarn, of course. So yeah, the last thing I wanted to talk about, actually there's 2. One really quickly, I'm going to have a special guest on my podcast. I'm almost positive in a couple of weeks. My cousin Dana, who is the one who kind of taught me how to knit. I learned a lot on my own, but she's the only one that I knew at the time that knit. And she lives kind of far away, about 45 minutes away. But she helped me knit on the phone via text messaging and pictures, and she just did whatever she could to help me. And she's awesome, and she sews, and she's very talented. And she's coming over she knows the basics of dyeing her own yarn, but she wants to learn a little bit more. So we thought we'd have a little yarn dyeing get together. We'll drink tea and coffee and dye some yarn, and we might even podcast together. So she can show you things she's been working on. She's also working on a Cozy Memories blanket. So I thought that might be fun. A little change in scenery. So yeah, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the nutrition thing. So last night I went to hold on, let me just make sure this is still recording. That would have been a problem. Yes, it is. Last night I went to a meeting. My dentist's wife is a nutritionist, and she is a certified nutrition teacher. She does a lot for the community, and she hosted this free seminar last night at the dental office, and kind of gave us all the basics about living with a plant-based diet. So she's not calling it vegan, because it's not entirely vegan. But I would like to start a plant-based diet based on all of I can't ignore the science that she showed the slides that she put up with all of the facts and the way the diet in America has changed over just the last 10 years is insane. And it's really negatively affecting our health as Americans. All of the added sugars and the meat products that we really don't need. A lot of these things are causing disease, inflammation in the body, which leads to disease and cancers. And following a plant-based diet, she explained, has reversed a lot of disease. So I love vegetables. I love beans. Meat has always been, I grew up eating it, but ever since I was pregnant with my first son, textures of most meats really gross me out. And so I became really picky with my meat eating. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy going out and having a really good steak once in a while that was really nicely cooked. A steak that doesn't have, the cow wasn't raised getting steroids and antibiotics and things like that. But how do I say this? So I am going to follow this plant-based diet, and my diet will be primarily fruits and vegetables, lots of beans, lots of kale. I love kale. So last night she made, before I get into that, however, my husband kind of said, if you don't have meat, you're going to be deficient in certain vitamins, and a human shouldn't have to take supplements. So he is very hesitant to give up his meat completely. He has agreed to cut back tremendously on it, maybe having it once or twice a week, just a small portion of organic meat. So that's where he stands. He's open to this, but he's not going to completely give away his meat, and he would like for the kids to still have some once in a while. Definitely not the way we've been eating it now, which is every day. So I'm okay giving up my meat completely. Him and the kids are just going to have it on occasion in small portions and make sure that it's organic and raised in a nice environment. So if you would like to go to her website or her blog, she is so sweet and so smart. She knows her stuff, and she's also a chef, a plant-based chef. So she shows you how to cook all of these things and make them yummy. So last night at the seminar, she cooked up some lentils in a pot of boiling water, and she added a couple of bay leaves and fresh thyme. And then in a separate bowl, she had kale, and she basically just plopped in an avocado, squeezed in juice from one lemon, added just a touch of salt, and just mixed it all together. And the lemon juice and the avocado blended so nicely with it. And then when the lentils were done, she just put them on top of the kale mixture and served it all to us. And I swear that was so delicious. And it was all natural and so good for you. And she said a lot of people ask they ask her, where do you get your protein? And she says, well, where do you get your fiber? Because a lot of Americans don't eat enough fiber. They're eating processed foods and added sugars and not enough green leafy vegetables to have a good digestive system. So anyway, I don't want to turn this into a nutrition podcast. I just wanted to let you know that I went to this seminar. I'm making these changes. I feel like it's just a little thing that I can do to try to be healthier, to prevent my disease from coming back, so that I can be here for my boys and my husband as long as possible. And I just want to be healthier. So her name is Jessica Myers Altman, and her website is www.gardenfreshfoodie, and foodie is spelled FOODIE.com. She's on Facebook and Instagram with the ID of Garden Fresh Foodie as well as Twitter and Pinterest. And she shares all of her recipes on there. And here's her business card. Let me see if I can get it on there. There you go. So yeah, if you're interested, I just wanted to share that with you. So I went to the health food store and got some of the ingredients that she shared with us last night. And then I saw this sweet little box of tea for kids. And it's Celestial Seasonings Sleepy Time Kids Herbal Tea. It's caffeine free and it's Goodnight Grape flavor. I've never seen a tea specifically for kids, but I think that Aiden will really like this, my 8-year-old. So yeah, I was excited to find that. Okay, I've chatted enough. I really enjoyed catching up with you this week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will be podcasting again next week, and I hope to be able to show you another sock on the needles and some color work in my shawl. So thank you so much for checking out my podcast and hanging out with me, and please be sure to subscribe to my podcast channel on YouTube if you enjoyed it. And yeah, have a nice week. Bye.